Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just ready to get started for our day 2 Sacramento Housing Alliance virtual tour. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kendra Lewis, and I am the Executive Director of the Sacramento Housing Alliance. And before we get started, I want to just do a few housekeeping things before we go. One is this is being recorded. We want to make sure everyone is aware of that. You can follow along as well with our program that is in the chat. We will be having a Q&A period, as well as we will also be taking questions in the chat. So if you have questions, we will try to field them as fast as we can because it moves pretty quickly. And just put in the chat and we will try to get to it as we see them. So again, thank you for joining us, and we are about to get started. I want to start off by saying this is day 2. We had an excellent start for our day 1 yesterday with our tour of Mercy La Mancha Way and SHRA's Mirasol Village. Although this is our traditional bus tour, we're not in person. We feel that this tour has been a great experience to learn more about these sites and see them in ways that we would not be able to see them if we were in person. Today will be different than yesterday. Today's sites there's some exciting, they're different. It's housing and apartments, and we will actually have a live person on site guiding us a little bit through their site. So thank you to our committee on behalf of the Sacramento Housing Alliance Board of Directors, our members, our volunteers, and our staff. We thank you for being here. We could not do this work in general without all of our grantors and support in general, but very specifically for our tour, we thank Aetna Health, Jamboree, the City of Sacramento, and Mogavero Architects for working with us, and especially KJ Productions, who understood the vision that we were trying to get in a short period of time. We had to cancel our bus tour last year because of COVID, and we just did not want to go another year without really showing and highlighting the sites that we have in our community. And given the housing crisis, we want to make sure that we keep up the energy for the work that we're trying to do. So without further ado, we'll get started. We should be on Facebook Live, so please share with your employees, staff, friends, family, that they can watch us live. We will be posting this later on YouTube. Our first site is going to be Mutual Trio, and it is with Mutual Housing. It has been developed by Mutual Housing California. Parker Evans, where are you? There you are. Unmute, because we had quite a few mutes. Parker is a champion of affordable housing, is a great partner to our organization, and is just instrumental in a lot of good things in our community. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being our tour guide this morning, and I'll let you take it away.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kendra. Thanks so much for the kind intro. Really excited to be here representing Mutual Housing and talking a little bit about our VicTrio rehab project. So I'll give a brief overview. We got a video following that, and a Q&A. If anybody has any questions as well, please feel free to post them in the chat. So VicTrio is a project that is many years in the making. Construction started in October 2019, and work on the financing went well before that. It is a scattered site rehab with 3 existing mutual housing projects in North Sacramento. So we have Norwood Annex, we have our Victory Townhomes, and we have Mutual Housing at Dixie Ann. That's 91 units in total. We find that when Mutual does rehabs, it's efficient to do, with the economies of scale and with the way that the financing works, it's much more efficient to do multiple rehabs at once. So we combined these 3 projects, and we did them in sequence. So it's the same lender, same investor, and the whole thing, same financing package with our partners at SHRA. On top of that, it is also one of the first opportunity zone affordable housing projects in the state, which allowed us for a little bit more advantageous financing. So between the scattered site nature, the opportunity zone factor, and the fact that we're delivering, I think it's 28 different buildings across really 3 calendar years. With COVID on top of that, this is legitimately one of the most complicated projects Mutual Housing's ever done. So as far as the construction scope goes, it was really as complete of a rehab as we could do without structural changes. So we're talking new flooring, new appliances, new lighting fixtures, new plumbing fixtures, new HVAC, new paint. It is new everything except for the walls. We had new site improvements. We refinished all the parking lots, installed new site fixtures, benches, barbecues, play structures. It is really like these residents are moving back into their homes, but it is a new unit, really from the ground up. We made some of the units ADA accessible, and the scope of the changes really meant that, you know, it was 4 to 6 weeks per building, and it's intensive rehab, and it's not something that that we could do with the residents in place. So there was a really, really high level of coordination that we did in collaboration with the residents, in collaboration with our movers, in collaboration with our financing partners, our contractors, our community development department, to do the relocation. We did our best, you know, acknowledging that this is an invasive process to move families for 4 to 6 weeks. We were able to accommodate almost all of our families on site or at nearby mutual housing properties to minimize the disruption in their lives. And the level of coordination was really impressive and really staggering. It left me feeling really proud to be a part of such a team that could pull off something as complicated as this. And I especially want to shout out our contractor, Eric Reed at Reed Construction, who was absolutely incredible working with the residents. And again, 91 units taking place over a long time. So we did our Norwood Annex rehab first, and that was at the end of 2019. And we finished VicTrio, or the Victory Townhomes shortly before, actually I think it was right before Christmas 2019. So we got started at Dixie Ann, which is the largest and most complicated of the 3 sites, and COVID hit. So that caused us we were forced to pause our relocation in March of 2019. Or sorry, 2020. So fortunately, we were able to continue with some of the exterior work, you know, the stair work and some of the paint stuff, but work was really halted with the bottleneck of relocation for 4 or 5 months while we worked on developing a relocation strategy with our movers, with property management, with our community development staff to ensure the health and safety of our residents and project partners. And eventually we were able to formulate a relocation strategy that was able to keep our residents safe and healthy. And we actually, believe it or not, managed to complete the project, which was, you know, about another 50 units, another 50 relocations, moving there and moving back with no delays that were caused by COVID, which is nothing short of a miracle, if you ask me. So we wrapped up relocation and construction in March of this year. After those delays, we're preparing to convert to our permanent financing in September. And there's so many great stories to come out of this rehab, out of this project, but there's a really great one from one of our residents who was at Mutual Housing at the Highlands, one of our permanent supportive housing properties in North Sacramento. During the project, she was able to move into one of the recently renovated units at Dixie Ann into a larger unit, a project that's not a supportive housing site, into her own freshly renovated home, Dixie Ann, and she's now settled in and she's active at Dixie Ann as a resident leader, which is exciting. And we're going to hear from a little bit more about her in a minute. So I'll pass it back, and if anybody has questions, please feel free to post them in the chat, and we can get those answered.
Thank you, Parker. Thank you for that great overview and insight and detail. And I'm sure there will be a lot more questions for you. But without further ado, we're ready for the tour. Wow, that was a great tour. That gave us a lot of more insight on the sites that you're talking about. I just want to let our attendees and viewers know that there is a trivia question on our poll that will pop up soon, and that you can answer while we go into the Q&A. And so I was not able to see all of the questions, but we have just a few I like to go ahead and start with. Would that be okay? Are you on? You off mute?
I am.
Okay, great. Okay, so the first question is, does the household size vary for individuals and families living in the VicTrio rehab?
Yeah, all three of the projects are large family projects, which means they have, I want to say it's more than 25% of the units at each of the three sites are 3-bedroom units. So it is a mix of 1s, 2s, and 3-bedroom units on all three sites. Dixie is mostly 2 bedrooms, but it is predominantly families that live on site with a pretty wide range in household sizes. Yes.
Okay, great. And then how did you all support residents through the renovation process? You kind of went through it, but what were some of the details? Did they need deposits? Did they all go into your other sites? How did that work?
So no, so the residents paid the same rent they always paid. Nothing changed. We took care of the utilities while they were out, and it was really a matter of communication that was a collaborative effort between me and the housing development team and our community development staff. We have a really great community development staff that coordinates resident councils and is in communication with residents and property management as well. So coordinating, here's when the move out time is, and here's when the movers are going to be here. Do you need help packing? We provided all the moving materials for free, and provided free assistance with packing for anybody who needed help moving. And we were able to accommodate, I would say, 90 to 95% of our residents either on site in a vacant unit that either had or hadn't recently been rehabbed, but they were able to stay on site at the property or at a property that was nearby. There were only a few folks that moved to hotels or to other mutual housing properties during the relocation.
Okay, great. And then we're kind of looking at the chat, but for those that are attending that may not really know any thing about how this process works, since you are, a staffer who really is on the front line of this, what does it take to bring a project like this to life? I think so many people in the community just don't know what it takes. What does it take?
Man, well, the first thing I'll say is it takes a tremendous team. Mutual housing, we have a staff of 60, 70, 80 people, including property management. And it was a huge lift even to get the financing applications off of the ground. So these are 3 properties that Mutual owned, but putting together the financing, the tax credit applications, working with the lender, working with the investor, putting the deals together is a laborious and complicated process that takes months and months. And when we're able to close on the construction financing and be able to start construction, that is a huge milestone. That is the work of many months by many people. The level of complexity in these transactions, if you've never been a part of a affordable housing transaction, I honestly don't think it's an exaggeration to say that a project like this is one of the most complicated real estate transactions in the country. They are extremely complicated, and that's before you even start on the logistics of relocation, coordination with the movers, and the construction scope, construction oversight, all of that stuff. It's a lot.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that insight with us and going into giving us a tour of the site. And I know there's other questions. I know I did see something that about the interiors, and that was kind of tied more to the production team, not Mutual. We were at the mercy of our production videographer at times, and so there are some sites that you will see the inside, and there are other sites that you won't. But really going forward, one of the things at SHA we want to do more often is really show the people that really benefit from this, and see that so often communities, as you know, they think these projects are like the boogeyman, and they're not. They're affordable, safe, healthy homes for people. And, you know, we want folks to be able to see that. So we will be sure going forward to work more often to show people what these sites look like.
The one thing I'll add to that is that there was a little bit of confusion, but there is no rent increase that's associated with this rehab work. The residents pay the same rent. There's no increase to the rent associated with the rehab. That's like one of the really critical aspects of the rehab.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. And if we have time, I'm sure there will be more questions once we show this next video rendering, which is just fantastic. So I will start our segue into what is the sneak peek of Sacramento's future community collaboration between Mutual Housing California and Habitat for Humanity of Greater Sacramento. This is really, really exciting. The Cornerstone development, which is what we're about to tour, is a future project of 126 apartments. 126 affordable housing apartments. It's a community that will be located in South Sacramento, and it will include affordable homeownership opportunities as well as rental apartments. And it will provide housing opportunities across the spectrum for over 400 low-income individuals. This project is just something else. So I want to go into the video and then we can talk about it soon. Wow, when we were watching the video for the first time, we said this definitely Pixar quality. It's a great. Before you go, Parker, I want to thank you, and then maybe at the end we can bring you and Shannon in to talk more about Cornerstone. Do you want to? Will you be able to do that? Okay, great.
I'll be around.
All right. Awesome. So now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Shannon Stein, who is with Habitat for Humanity, who will give us an overview of the organization and the project. And she's live, and it's great to see a real person somewhere.
Hi, Kendra. Thank you so much. And to the SHA Planning Committee and Board, we are thrilled to participate today. I'm happy to be here. That rendering video is a tough act to follow. We are really proud to be partnering with Mutual Housing on that community. And it makes me really proud to be not just a Sacramentan, but a part of this really wonderful group of professionals who work in affordable housing on a daily basis. And so today, in honor of the bus tour, I am actually at our current build site, which is Mandolin Estates. Mandolin Estates is in South Sacramento off of Power Inn and Elder Creek. This is a 13-home community that will house over 60 individuals, including 40 children. I am standing in front of one of the first 3 homes that will be dedicated on September 11th, Saturday, September 11th. It will be our first in-person dedication in over 16 months. So we're really excited to bring people back to our build sites, because Habitat is about building community. We are about bringing people together to build hope and homes and to strengthen our community and to be able to bring so many people have been a part of bringing Mandolin Estates to fruition. It'll be wonderful to have so many people here to celebrate these first 3 homes. So many things to share with you about our Habitat homes and about this development and the future of our organization. First and foremost, a few things to point out. You can see that we are actively in construction. There are builds happening behind me. 8 of the 13 properties at this site are currently in different varying stages of construction. We still very much depend on our volunteer crews to do a lot of our building. Obviously, this last year and a half has made that challenging, but we have a phenomenal, amazing group of core volunteers named our crew leaders, who have really been the heart and soul of continuing to keep our builds moving over the last year and a half, along with our Habitat staff. And of course, our homeowners who put in 500 hours of sweat equity on building theirs and other Habitat homes. And this has been a fabulous opportunity to really dive into building a Habitat community with our homeowners during their sweat equity. So that's been a phenomenal opportunity. But we have a lot of volunteers out here today doing work, but I'd like to show you a few of the things about these homes that are very special as well. These homes have been made possible thanks in part to a partnership with SMUD. And you can see that they are EV ready and fully energy efficient. They're not only built to Title 24 specifications, but actually to Energy Star specifications. So our goal is not only to build affordable homes for home ownership, but to make sure that those homes are sustainably affordable long-term for our families. We really believe, and we're extremely grateful to be included in today's tour and this week's events, because it shows that there is room for affordable home ownership at the table when we are talking about affordable housing. We talk about the spectrum, and I think our project with Cornerstone, with Mutual Housing, really shows what happens and what's possible when we all work together to really attack the affordable housing crisis at so many levels. And it's been wonderful to have conversations with people at the rental who work in affordable rentals and transitional housing, to also talk about the value that affordable home ownership brings to communities and to the neighborhoods in which we build. And also how affordable home ownership over time alleviates and addresses the concerns and some of the issues of systemic racism and wealth inequality in regards to home ownership, and especially in regards to Black, Indigenous, and other underserved communities in regards to home ownership. So we really see the communities that we help build as an opportunity to create opportunities and pathways and to remove barriers for historically underserved communities in home ownership. We're thrilled that all of you are allowing us to be part of this conversation and are helping raise the conversation to include home ownership. These homes here and all of our Habitat homes are purchased by the homeowners. That's a common misconception, that we give away our homes. These are very much affordable home ownership opportunities. Each homeowner, in addition to their 500 hours of sweat equity, also has a 30-year 0% interest equivalent mortgage. They have a payable first note that is payable at no more than 30% of their gross monthly income. And of course, they are all affordable low-income families, 30 to 80% of the AMI. And we have a variety of other funding that comes into play to help supplement the cost, because we do sell the homes based on their fair market value. So obviously, all of you know fair market value in comparison to 30% of an adjusted AMI, there's a lot of other expenses there that need to be covered. And we're very fortunate that we work with such wonderful donors and partners like SMUD, like DPR, like Wave Broadband, SHRA, Mutual, so many wonderful partners who really bring us together. Where there's a lot of opportunities still is raising the validity and the awareness of home ownership at the municipal funding level. We still find it very difficult. Shannon, I would be happy to show you the interior of the house, Barry. I'll come back to that. So, you know, it's very challenging because affordable home ownership really has still not been talked about at the municipal level, locally, statewide, or federally. And so there's still a lot of opportunities for us to find ways to collaborate in using those funds to also focus on affordable home ownership. But we have been very fortunate to be able to partner with Cal Home on these homes. So in addition to the affordable first note, these properties will have a secondary Cal Home note that will become payable at the end of the 30-year term for the first mortgage note. And then also that note, that Cal Home note, is negotiable as well based on affordability for the family. And then there's always a forgiveness portion on the Habitat, on a Habitat mortgage. Habitat never is made truly whole. And what we do in order to help cover that gap is we have what's called our Fund for Humanity. And so when our homeowners are paying their mortgages, their principal goes into what we call our revolving fund for humanity. So our homeowners, the over 165 homeowners that we have sold homes to over our 35-year time here in Sacramento, are helping pay forward to build for future Habitat homeowners. And so it really gives our homeowners not only a pride of ownership in their own home, but that sense of community that they're helping create that same opportunity for other deserving families in the Sacramento area and throughout the nation and our world. And before I turn it over to the video, I want to take you inside to this beautiful house.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll show you here our kitchen. Appliances are not all fully in yet, but it is an all electric home. And this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-story. Ina and Oleg and their children will be living in this home. We do beautiful laminate flooring through the shared spaces in the home. We do carpet in the bedrooms. We work with unbelievable partners to get some of our items donated, but overall Habitat spends approximately, for this project here, these houses, including pre-construction, on average will cost $270,000 to build. And so you can really see too that there is value. There's a lot of value in the concept of affordable home ownership and building affordable home ownership. And so developments and communities, not unlike Mandolin Estates, but also especially Cornerstone and our partner with Mutual Housing, again, are just a really phenomenal opportunity to show that through collaboration, we can really be responsible stewards for the individual donors who support us, for responsible investment from municipalities, and to show that we can work together to create a greater impact than when we work apart.
Thank you, Shannon. That was great. That was a great tour and just information, and we were able to see, you know, the contrast, but you know that there's not one silver bullet, but there's many ways that we can really deal with our housing crisis and the future of affordable housing in our region. Thank you so much. We'll stop there so people can see the video, and then we'll come back. Thank you. We have a few questions for you, Shannon, and then maybe we'll bring you both and Parker if there's any more questions specific to Cornerstone. So is there a process to help residents maintain the safe and beautiful neighborhoods 10 to 20 years from now, neighborhood association, block watches?
Absolutely. Habitat homeownership, our homeowners are part of our Habitat family, and we stay well connected with our homeowners long after their home is dedicated. We have our homeowner services department provides ongoing communication and education, financial education, outreach, homeowner newsletter. Now that hopefully post-COVID, we'll be able to start gathering and doing an annual picnic with our homeowner families again. But we absolutely are always, communication is the foundation of our partnership with our homeowner families, because it really is a partnership. As all of you know, when we are working with folks on the affordable housing spectrum, it can be a very intrusive process with maintaining the knowledge of income and how they're using their finances. And so it's important that there's a trust built and that communication goes back and forth, and that relationship far extends the dedication of the home. And we are always happy to find out when somebody is graduating from college or a child is getting married. But additionally, we are all about that empowerment of building the home, the sweat equity, learning how to care for your property. And so when our homeowners have a question, we empower them to learn how to fix some of the problems on their own, but also what questions to ask when they're looking for their own repair person or subcontractor. And we are always here to help walk them through and answer questions. And we obviously also have warranty periods in place for new home builds. But yeah, absolutely, we do not say, here's your home, good luck. We are always very much present, and I look forward to communicating with our family partners.
That's awesome. And education is the key. And even for homeowners who don't have, aren't working with you, it would be great to have some place to go to ask some of these questions right away. Okay, I have a couple more. One of the questions I have, and there's a few, is how many applicants do you get when you open up a site, or that you're going to have some site homes available?
Thank you for asking that question. We just finished an open application period. Our open application periods run for approximately a month at a time, and we do 1 to 2 a calendar year. And this year, this application period was the greatest amount of need we've ever seen. We had over 5,500 potential pre-applications come in and interested parties, and we received over 267 completed applications, which is 4 times more than any we've ever received before. The need, and it punctuates the growing need for affordable housing in general, but I think it also punctuates the need and that there are a lot more families out there who qualify for this type of home ownership opportunity, and that if we can continue to create more opportunities and build more densely, create opportunities to build smaller home ownership opportunities, start talking more about ADUs and new ways of seeing single unit lots, will allow us to better serve all of those applicants.
Great, thank you so much. And this will be a question for the future. We can have a larger conversation about is how policy wise, because that's the partnership that we're in, do we help Habitat move this along, because that's really where it is. It's policy and then it's budget. Right?
Amen. Policy and budget. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Policy or budget? And really, we're so grateful to SHA, because a lot of the work that you're doing right now by continuing to keep home ownership as part of the conversation and as part of the overall continuum and solution, not just for our community, but for our nation and for our state in particular, in regards to addressing this severe shortage of affordable housing at all levels. And so continuing to have these conversations, continuing to hold virtual tours, continuing to create, Parker hit the nail on the head. It is not easy to create these types of collaborations and real estate transactions. Many people have participated in bringing Cornerstone to life, and we all have to be committed really thinking outside the box and looking at what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked, and being willing to try new creative opportunities and solutions, and holding our elected officials accountable for being part of those solutions. And making sure that their funding priorities and their budget priorities reflect the urgent need that we all as professionals in this arena are very aware of already. And so that's what we can ask for you to do, and you already do it beautifully. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I have a couple more questions, and then we'll bring Parker. Maybe we can, if we can do side by side, if it matters. If not, just unmute. Okay, so one of the questions is, do many of the selected families to live in Mandolin live in South Sac? Is there a way?
So all of our partner families, and this is actually a Habitat for Humanity policy, each affiliate serves certain areas or municipalities. Our area of responsibility is Sacramento and Yolo County. So applicants for homeownership through Habitat for Humanity of Greater Sacramento must have lived or worked in Sacramento or Yolo County for at least 1 year. We have been very present. We've been very forthcoming about where we are building, because we also agree it's extremely important that we don't want to remove families from their communities. There is something to be taken into consideration about having kids change schools and taking all of that into consideration about the holistic health of a family. So we've been very upfront. So anybody who's selected for partnership with the program knows where the properties will be and has the opportunity to make that decision up front on if they'd like to move forward. But they come from all over Sacramento County.
All over. Okay, great. And then what kind of education and financial resources are available to the families, maybe once you pick them or in the process?
So we work very closely with NeighborWorks and other HUD approved programs for the Preparing for Home Ownership course, the HUD certified course. It's 8 hours. Each member of the household who will be on the deed must complete that course. We also do a lot of one-on-one education and training. After the family partner is selected for partnership, they'll meet one-on-one with our homeowner services manager, with myself, with our controller. And we really start breaking down just page by page, concept by concept, what all the intricacies of a mortgage and of this financial agreement. This is absolutely the largest financial undertaking most of the families we work with will ever take on. Yeah. And so it's really important that we start the education process and the communication process very early in the sweat equity partnership, to make sure that our families don't feel rushed into signing paperwork, that they understand the financial commitment that they are agreeing to, and that they are prepared for the rigors of home ownership overall. And so there's also, during that sweat equity time period, they're working daily with our construction crew leaders, our site supervisors, and learning the general intricacies of what it takes to manage a house, changing out your air filters, how to, how to fix a leaky faucet, where your water shutoff valve is, all those things that we forget about as renters. We call a landlord and they're taken care of. And so there is really hands-on education that happens during the sweat equity process as well. But the financial partnership and education is essential, and it's actually part of our program that we're really investing in growing and expanding over the next few years, and creating additional opportunities for education, not just for our family partners, but for community members who are interested in becoming homeowner partners in the future, how to prepare for a mortgage application. And honestly, if it prepares them to be qualified for a mortgage with somebody else or another lender, great. But we really just want to give more people tools on how to clean up your credit, how to, and just how to not let those challenges from financial mistakes in years past hold you back from opportunities in the future.
Sure. Thank you very much. Parker, if you could unmute, I have some Cornerstone questions. We have a couple of them. So the first question is, how did you all come together for this? What made you figure out this would work with the two organizations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this parcel that we're talking about, it's big. It's 7 acres in unincorporated South Sacramento, southeast or southwest of Nicholas Park. And the site is actually split zone, which makes developing it really complicated. So about the third of the site, more or less, that's on the eastern side is zoned for single family, and the western portion is zoned for multifamily up to, I think,
Wow.
30 units per acre.
And,
So
and
as
Parker, I'm gonna stop you. Can you say what does multifamily mean?
yeah, so it's what the county has said, that we want multifamily housing on this western part of the site, and we want single family housing on the eastern part of the site. So the site is owned by SHRA, and so when SHRA said, "Hey, we want to develop some affordable housing on it," we thought, well, wouldn't it be cool to partner with Habitat, which is something that we've never done before. And so we worked together, and I believe we were the only respondent to the SHRA RFP that combined these two elements together.
Wow.
So we reached out to SHRA or to Habitat and said, "Hey, let's do this together. We can team up on the entitlements and going through the county process and working with SHRA on the financing, and we can do part and you can do part. And when it's done, the idea is that the communities will be tied together in a way that Mutual's never done before with a partner developer. So we're excited about building community, which we do at all of our communities, but to extend that to homeownership and to show our residents of our housing, that many of whom want to become homeowners someday, say, this is doable, this is within reach. And here are your neighbors that have done it, that have gone from where you are to where you want to be.
Great, thank you. And another question more directed to Mutual is, can you discuss the unique nature of Cornerstone Community for residents living in the rental?
Yeah, so the Mutual Housing side that will be owned and operated by Mutual Housing is 108 rental units. They are for families, so we have a mix of 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedroom units. We have 16 of those units will be set aside for families that are coming out of homelessness, and those have vouchers associated with them. We've got a play area. We've got barbecues, outdoor stuff, on-site parking, a really cool community building. And you can see, you guys all saw in the video that the design that we're working with Salazar Architects on, I think is really and is going to add a visual element to the neighborhood that doesn't exist there. We're really excited about this being a gathering place for the neighborhood, especially community building. Mutual Housing California has a really strong and really powerful community development staff that operate at all of our projects. We provide resident leadership training, resident councils, financial literacy services, health education, leadership training and organizing training, all kinds of really fantastic programming that we're excited to roll out at this property, and to collaborate with the Habitat homeowners on that as well.
So what is the timeline? So we were able to see the video rendering, which I am so impressed with. I didn't know it was a thing. But what's the timeline? Does Habitat have its own because you're building homes, or you guys, is it together, or how is it going to work?
There's a little bit of gnarliness that we're working on. We're working on dialing that in with Sacramento County as far as the actual construction goes. But Mutual will start on our construction side this upcoming February. So keep an eye out for a groundbreaking announcement and an event, because that is certainly coming. And we expect at this point that Habitat will begin construction of their first homes while we are under construction on the multifamily side across the street.
Okay. That's a pretty good timeline. And for something like that, although it's new, how long should it take?
20 months. We're expecting that we'll be opening in approximately the fall of, that will be 2023.
Great. That's reasonable for many of us. We can see 2023.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you each kind of wrap up, and then we'll wrap up the tour. Question is, Mutual talk about some of the work that you do to help renters build credit by the Maximize Your Rent program.
So unfortunately, I'm not on site with the community development staff, so I can't talk specifically about that rent program, but I know that the financial literacy training that our staff does, they do have credit building programs that are widely attended by Mutual residents.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, maybe that's something we can kind of push out through SHA for our community to learn more about. And then, okay, so then that was our last question that I can see. We do have a poll. I'm sorry, I was supposed to mention the poll or trivia question after the video, so that will pop up. But I'd like to give you an opportunity to just go ahead. Parker, you'll start, and then I'll let Shannon finish, kind of wrap up the tour, your organization, and what to look for in the future.
Yeah, I'll go. So thanks so much again, Kendra, and to SHA for having us. We love being a part of these every year, and especially these tours. It's a really great opportunity for us to show off the tremendous work that we're doing here in Sacramento to build affordable housing, North Sacramento, South Sacramento, all across the region. So we're really proud of it, and we hope that we'll be able to see many of you at the groundbreaking in February for Cornerstone.
Great, thank you, Parker. And Shannon?
Yes, Kendra, again, and SHA, I can't thank you all enough for allowing us to participate in this event. And, you know, Parker, it's a pleasure working with you. And as far as Habitat is concerned, you know, we are so grateful to be part of such a well-organized and vocal affordable housing community in our region. And really feel strongly that through working together, we are able to accomplish so much. And look forward to finding other opportunities to do so as we continue to do things like Rock the Block again this year. Sorry, shameless plug.
Yes.
Coming in October. So come join us. 400 volunteers are needed. So we're just really thrilled to be able to show how affordable home ownership and just affordable housing in general has the potential to really change our community and this place that we love so much together, that we call home. So thank you all for letting us participate today.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank everyone again for taking time out of your very busy days to join us. We thank Mutual and Habitat, who are just excellent partners. I personally, I would speak for our organization and myself. I really enjoy working with both organizations. We do some really good work together, and we're just getting started. Thank you again to our sponsors who make today happen. And day 2 was so different than day 1, and day 3 is going to be even more different. So thank you all. Encourage your friends and employees and family to join us tomorrow. And we have one more tour on Friday. So thank you to our team. We could not do this without Kareef Lawrence, who is the technical person, and Adra Okoro, our policy director, and just I think there's a basketball term where someone gets off the bench, the 7th player, or whatever that title is. She's that person for SHA right now. Anytime we need a shot, someone to go off the bench, she's there. So thank you all. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we will, if you haven't had a chance, a couple more seconds for the poll, but thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.